And hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Triangle Tennis Podcast. This is Zach Chakowski, joined as always by my co-host, Dr. Matt Hanauer, and we are excited to talk about the thing sweeping the nation, recreational tennis, yet again. We've got a really good one today. Matt, why don't you tell folks a little bit about our guest?
Our guest has he has probably the biggest serve in the triangle. He set me back 3 months, I think, after playing with him the other day. My final test, I've said this a few times, will be if I can handle this person's serve to know if I'll be able to come back. And he is also one of the many recent members who have become doctors. So I wanted to welcome Ryan Sayko.
Yay! Dr. Ryan Sayko, welcome to the pod. Are we experiencing some audio issues?
Already?
God damn, that was fast. All right. He's a man of few words.
We could use a few more words, Ryan.
Jesus Christ, he's talking our ear off here.
You guys hear me?
Back.
There he is.
Literally, as soon as Matt started talking, it was probably my headset that shut off and I could not hear anything.
That's too funny.
I'm going to assume that you guys did a brilliant intro.
We did.
I think that's a safe assumption. We're really known for our intros in some ways. Some have called it actually the premier intro for men's recreational tennis podcast set in the Triangle. I don't know.
And I also never prepare for them. Zach always tells me the last minute, "Oh, Matt, you're going to do the intro." And so I do it right on the spot.
We like to have fun here.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. It was great. You can listen to it when you listen to the podcast.
I think we talked a little bit, by the way, Ryan, about whether to make this a video podcast. It's audio only. And one of the things that would bring me great joy if we were to ever convert to video is just people getting to see Matt working out with his wrist strengthening device, and there's no polite way to say this. It looks like a giant floppy dildo.
It does look like a dildo. Yeah.
Yep.
It does. It's quite the visual ASMR.
Yeah.
That we got.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to deal with this. So, go for it. Let's get into Ryan, though. We're not here to talk about Matt's dildos.
No. We're here to get to the bottom of Ryan Sayko. Ryan, where the heck are you from? Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Where the heck am I from? I grew up in the small town of Skaneateles, New York, and this is about 30 minutes outside of Syracuse. So if you put up the whole upstate New York territory on a map and just I told you, just point to the center of it. It's like right there.
It's right, the Indiana of upstate New York.
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah. Matt, is that a fair comp?
The Indiana. It's probably more of, what did you say? It was right outside of Syracuse?
Yeah.
It's what's the fucking city outside of? I forget. There's a city outside of, some random city outside of Indy, but yeah, that's probably right.
It's the Gary of upstate
Gary,
New York.
yes. Gary, yeah. That's a good one.
You could say that, yeah. I basically grew up in the middle of nowhere.
So what did you do to stay busy and have fun? You could live in that small town life.
Oh, man. I got into quite a bit of things. My parents wanted to get me into sports when I was younger. So when I was about 10 or 11, they're like, "Hey, Ryan, go find a sport to play." And thought about getting into tennis. So I'm like, "Hey, let's sign up for this clinic right in the park that's right in town and see if I like it." So it turned out that just that sport of tennis was fascinating to me, with everyone using all these different tennis rackets and all the diversity of equipment. I guess that got me into tennis. And so since then until about middle school, I've been playing on and off, but I never really got into it competitively until I guess 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah.
That's
You're a tall guy.
Yes.
One, how tall are you? And then two, how often do people suggest that you play basketball?
I am about 6'4". I used to be 6'5". I'd always claimed that I was 6'5" until it was probably like a couple years ago when I was getting a checkup and I had to get my height measured, and the nurse said I was 6'4". I was like, no, this cannot be at all.
You're a little young to be shrinking now.
Yeah,
what
the
is
fuck?
contributing
I was already young.
to the shrinkage? Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Wow.
I could be slouching too. That's my other guess.
Okay.
I think that Ryan's actually 6'8". He just slouches because he doesn't want to be a show off.
Yeah.
But not many people ask me if I play basketball anymore. At least not casually these days.
Were you that tall? What were you tall when you were younger? How did the height go as you aged?
Yeah, I was about 6'4", 6'5" from like 11th grade onwards,
Wow.
Oh
and then I
wow,
just
Okay.
stopped growing after that.
No, it's normal. But
similar
yeah, okay, so
thing.
you were
I stopped growing after 7th grade, so yeah, I get that.
Oh, you peaked at 7th grade. Nice.
Pretty much. I hit
That's not bad.
5'7" in 7th grade, and now I'm 5'10" with a emphatic wink.
Wink. Yeah.
Yep.
But to be honest, tennis actually wasn't the only sport
Yeah.
that I played. Fun fact, I actually played a couple years of football in
Ooh.
JV, junior varsity. And
What'd you
I
play?
was
What
I was
position?
a tight end, probably 80% blocking tight end and
Mm-hmm.
20% receiving tight end.
Which
Mhm.
NFL tight end, past or present, would you most compare your play style to?
Ooh,
Jeremy Shockey?
lucky.
That's a New York guy.
There was one guy that was also number 82. I think he played for the Redskins, but this was like years and years ago. That also had my sort of blocking style. I forgot his name, but
Yeah.
I can't
feel
help
like,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I never really had a certain blocking or receiving style.
Who was your favorite tight end on the Patriots growing up?
Man, if it wasn't Rob Gronkowski,
That's a good
I
pick. There's
couldn't.
a right answer and a
Yeah,
wrong answer to that. Yeah.
there is no other answer.
So were you a good football player as well?
No, I wasn't that good. I was just there to be a wall and bend my arms out and not let people get past me or tackle the guy with the ball. That was the job I had, and I was actually pretty decent at that.
So Matt and I on the last episode, which has not been released yet, we talked a little bit about the evolution of his game and his play style. And I'm so curious, Ryan, have you always played the same style that you do today, or was your game different when you were a youngster?
So let's get into what kind of style I have now. I think that would be a pretty convenient
Yeah,
time
set
to
the
do that.
table. Set the table.
So
What is your style?
a lot of people would notice that my second serve is not very different from my first serve.
hmm
Are you underselling that, perhaps, Ryan?
I couldn't tell you if I was underselling it. I undersell a lot of components.
Yeah, no, you don't have a. It's not that you hit a second serve, but it is pace wise, motion wise, and placement wise identical to your first serve. Someone who's been on the other side of the net. Matt,
Say
is
it's about.
yeah, Matt. What do
Yeah.
you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I felt it the last time we played. It hurt. It really hurt my wrist.
It's like your second serve is like catching a fastball from Randy Johnson. Your first serve is also like catching a fastball from Randy Johnson. It's the same. Anyway, sorry to interrupt. Continue.
But usually the second serve is like a random shot in the corner, and there's usually one second serve ace.
I was
If
gonna
there was
ask,
ever an ace, it's on second serve.
do you have more aces on your first serve or your second serve?
Second serve.
Second serve, yeah, because people aren't ready for it.
They don't know.
Yeah.
Is that true? I think the first time I played you, I waited for your second serve to show up, and you just kept hitting first serves, right?
Yeah.
But now going to that match, I prepare for that mentally and like game planning wise. Do you find that you hit fewer second serve aces against somebody the more times you play them, or is that's just a constant?
I think that's a constant these days.
Tell us a little
Oh,
more
wow.
about the rest of your game. We're going to do a whole section on your serve later. So
Well,
what's the rest of Ryan's game?
Kind of the serve. It's an adaptive play style where I spend probably much longer than I should, at least the first set, trying to figure out what my opponent is doing and either keep cranking out big forehands or big backhands. I'd say my backhand is a pretty large component of my game right now. It's something that I'm much more comfortable with at the moment than my forehand. And this is probably not good if I'm saying my whole strategy because everyone is gonna be able to counter me now.
I got great news for you, Ryan. We got 30 listeners, and so the
Yeah.
likelihood of you playing somebody who's listening, and also we're 11
You
minutes
say it's
into the
30
recording.
now.
Yeah. I think that anyone listening to this podcast is already so familiar with your play style that you can give away.
Yeah, I would
you can give away
agree.
farm. Yeah.
Yeah. A good portion of that can be a serve and volley game as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It would be a consistent either full offensive style or a full defensive style, depending on who I'm playing against.
Yeah. That is you have an unusually adaptable game.
Mm-hmm.
Your serve is constant. Everything else kind of changes. Do you, within the various play styles you can play, have a game that you most enjoy playing?
I would say it's just one where there are no serious consequences from that. If, for example, I'm playing like a team match and the result of that team match has already been decided, and I can just play as loose as possible
Yeah.
against someone, that I think that's probably the most I would enjoy in a match.
Yeah.
And I think that gives me the largest breathability to just rip forehands and backhands and serves.
Yeah. So first strike tennis, really.
Yeah.
So interesting. So the ones that I generally enjoy are I like a little bit of pressure, like a little something on the line. It gives me an excuse to get more into the match. But it sounds like it's better for you. You're able to get more in and stay zoned in if there's a little less riding on it.
Yeah. But
Interesting.
at the same time, I also like to play a sort of mental game sometimes, or if I pick up on any sort of body language that
Yeah.
my opponent would be showing, I would just try to convince myself that they don't want to be there playing tennis
Yeah.
at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, um, in fact, would give me a little bit even less pressure to try to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. You're able to adapt to the opponent. Your game really depend. You could play any game. You don't even know what game you're gonna play until you see
Yeah.
your opponent really,
Exactly.
which is odd
It's why,
and good.
For me, the person I have the hardest time preparing for and playing against in the triangle consistently is Ryan, because I've played hyper offensive Ryan. I respectfully hate it because I have no control over the point whatsoever. Ryan, whether it's with the big return, big serve, can dominate the point the whole time. I played hyper defensive Ryan, respectfully Ryan, hate it because you are quick, you cover a ton of court, and you get the ball back an awful lot. And most guys can't play either style like that consistently and that effectively. And you can do both, and you throw in the biggest serve in the triangle, and it's why I think you've been name checked as much as any triangle player on the podcast.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and you had I saw that defensive game in live when you played. I forget his last name, Eric on our team. That was a great win. I didn't realize Spencer was telling me his UTR was like 8. And you demolished him. And he was chucking his racket. Not like sometimes I'll chuck my racket and then I'll laugh after. This was like, I'm really fucking pissed. He smashed a racket during that game, I think.
I've made a lot of people smash
Yeah.
rackets during my time in North Carolina.
Wow.
Do you keep the smashed rackets with the vanquished foes?
I've had a couple. I still have a couple with me here.
Oh,
Wow.
I've used them as wall decorations.
That's so rad.
That is awesome. Oh man, that is so great.
I thought about doing this. I smashed a racket against Jackson. He's the one person who's gotten me to smash a racket in the triangle. And I thought about framing it and then giving it to him as a gift. But also, if you don't want that on your wall and someone gives you a framed thing, pretty annoying because social norms would dictate that you do put that on your wall. That being said, Ryan, if you wanted to start that tradition for the next person you smash a racket against, I think that would be rad. Or the next person you get to smash a racket.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I can't really say much to the effect of smashing rackets because I did actually smash my own a month and a half ago.
What happened?
So this was at States for the spring season about a month and a week ago. And I was over 3 for that weekend, and I was in a tiebreaker, and I want to believe if I won that match, I think that would have sent our team to the finals. I was up match point 9-7,
Mm.
There was first point was a double fault. I double faulted away. The next two were winners by the other player. His name is
Mhm.
Diego, and this was out of the metro region we were playing
Okay.
against. A lob winner, and then a forehand winner cross court because he took advantage of like a short return that I hit.
Yeah.
And then the
Mhm.
last point was he hit a backhand down the line shot that hit the net cord, and I couldn't react to it in time for a volley. It passes me, it lands in the court, so I ended up I tried to throw it the whole face down method. I
Yeah.
think it was like that
Yeah.
Roddick was trying to show on like a YouTube short
Mhm.
or something like that, but it still ended up breaking, and it bounced into a women's doubles match that was
Oh
playing next to
no!
us.
Whoop.
Yeah, so it
Were
was
they
like a
cool
whoops
about it,
feeling.
or were they
Oh, they
like,
were so cool about it. They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
yeah, it's fine.
We get
Yeah.
it. We get it.
Yeah.
Everybody gets it at that stage. Like they're like,
Yeah.
that's an
It
appropriate
was
response.
it was very fun though. I enjoyed the match and playing against them, and I'd
Even,
definitely go back.
even the people that like never react on a court, most of them at some point in their tennis career have been a head case too. The most
Definitely.
famous example being Roger Federer, who allegedly as a
Mhm.
teen was a bit of a brat, and not
Yeah.
in the Charlie XCX culture brat summer way brat. Like he was legit just like a brat on a tennis court.
Oh yeah.
I've heard that as well.
I know everyone's been a head case at least one time in
Yeah.
their whole
Mhm.
tennis playing career, recreational or professional. It's definitely happened to everyone.
What a great segue to your high school tennis career.
Oh boy.
There we go.
I'm assuming you played in high school. If
Yeah.
so, tell us about your journey.
I played varsity tennis for 6 years, starting from seventh
What?
grade. Yeah.
Oh, didn't know that was
So
legal.
I
yeah,
didn't know.
my school
Yeah.
was very small. My graduating class was like 130, and we
Okay.
needed players on the team.
Fair enough.
So the high school coach, he knew that I was an up and coming tennis player. He's like, hey,
Yeah.
can we get you to join this team? And I'm like, sure, why not? I'll try to play some tennis. And
Mhm.
when I guess you had to pass some sort of conditioning test to get on the team.
Mhm.
And my middle school gym teacher had to conduct that test. And I think one of the examples was that I had to run like a -7 or 7.5 minute
Okay.
mile or something like
Okay.
that. And the coach was like, hey, I think we both know you can't do that right now. So we're just going to say that you can do it and
Yeah.
sign you through. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
that sounds good.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. That's tea. So when you're in seventh grade and you're on a varsity high school team, did you get any wins that season? And if
I got a
so,
few.
how?
Yeah.
Tell me you got a win against a senior that had picked up tennis late in their high
Oh,
school
no.
career.
There was one doubles win that was like a junior sophomore combination, and one of them was my cousin's friend out in another part of Syracuse that like the bus went over to their school, we'd win in 2 sets, and then my
Oh
cousin
my
would be like,
God.
hey, how do you lose to this seventh grader, man?
I don't
Yeah.
know about you, Matt, but if I had lost to a seventh grader on my high school team as a junior, I would have lost my mind. That would have been my worst behaved day, unquestionably, on a tennis court.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Can't think of a time I lost to a freshman. I lost some bad matches, but I don't think they were to freshmen. They were usually to upperclassmen. That would have been rough.
I narrowly dodged a loss to a freshman. I would have played a kid at Woodbury Forest Rob Galloway, who played doubles in Wimbledon. We went on to do that. He was one line away from me when I was a senior, and I think he was a freshman, and he would have kicked my ass, but dodged that
Mhm.
bullet. Ryan, were they good sports about it when you beat these guys?
Yeah, they were great sports. It was really fun.
Yeah. Did you look like a seventh grader, or were you like a big guy for seventh?
Nah, I probably looked like a ninth grader at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
A little better.
Did you tell them? Did you always tell people you were a seventh grader?
No, I barely even talked.
Dude, that would have been so
Okay.
funny to talk shit. Be like, you won't believe what I'm studying in my math class. What about you? Oh wow, that's old. That's old
Yeah.
math.
Yeah.
Well, I was studying seventh grade math my senior year, so that would have been like, oh, we're studying the same thing.
But yeah, my mechanics in high school were a lot different. The serve would either be a super flat serve or it would be a slice serve that even had more slice than yours and Matt's from
Whoa.
I'm
doubles alley
sorry.
to doubles alley.
You had
Oh yeah.
you had a second serve. You choose not to hit it.
Wait, this
It
doesn't make
was like
sense.
a pancake second serve.
When did you switch full time? We're going way out of order here, but
Yeah,
gotta get
we
it.
really are.
When did you go full time to 2 first serves?
This was actually after college.
Yeah.
So if we want to even go more out of order, we could
We'll
talk
come
about
back
that.
to this. Yeah, folks, you're all listening for Ryan serve stuff. We're gonna come back to that. So Ryan, you were a 7th grade player, 8th grade player. Any notable moments from your high school career, and anything else that you want to talk about from what you learned from your coach or anything like that?
Me and my friend, we played doubles together both my junior and senior year. Just enough matches to get into the individual sectionals tournament. So there would be like a single sectionals tournament and a double sectionals tournament. We didn't have teams in the boys' high school back when I was there. My friend and I, we won both the doubles titles for sectionals and the interclass sectionals. This first tournament would be playing against schools that had graduating classes around our size, one up 400, something like that. And then if we place high enough for that, we qualify for something called interclass sectionals, where you play against kids from schools of all sizes around the Syracuse and Utica area.
Oh, okay.
My friend and I, Ethan, we beat all those kids out in doubles tournaments, both my junior and senior year.
Oh, that's rad. We're going to take a
Nice.
quick pause for some Matt ASMR. Matt, will you say the word Utica for us, please?
Utica? I don't know. How do you like it?
I liked it when Utica said it.
Yeah,
That was fantastic. One more time.
Utica.
And that has been America's favorite game, ASMR with Matt. One more time. Back to Ryan's high school tennis career.
I
All right.
could believe it.
So how would you typically do when you would advance past that first section? Do you make a good run?
So after that, it would be called states,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
we would all be playing at the Flushing Meadows where they do the U.S.
What?
Open. Yeah,
What?
that was probably one of my favorite places to play.
Yeah,
For
that's
sure.
gotta be.
Yeah.
Like, what's it like?
The first time we were there, it was actually pretty intimidating
Yeah.
I
being
bet.
there for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Say the courts are relatively faster, much faster than anywhere
Oh.
around here. And you see all these kids that are even, they look a lot better and they look much more physically built for the game.
Mm-hmm.
But we just tried to have fun with it. There were 32, 33 doubles teams and 33 singles players there. And my junior year, we lost the first round, won a consolation match, and then lost the next one. Then my senior year, we won the first match in the round of 32, and then in the round of 16, we ended up losing in the third set tiebreaker. This was full sets, 9-11, I think.
Oh, wow.
Which was, yeah, that was probably one of the most heartbreaking losses, but it was hella fun
Yeah.
to actually be there.
So you played in Flushing Meadows. Did you play at all beyond high school?
Beyond high school, yes. I played for one semester at Allegheny College, and I didn't start or anything. I was one of the exhibition people riding the bench, but in that whole time, I did not lose an exhibition match,
Oh,
which
hey,
is a plus for me.
Go.
Yeah.
will you tell us about that a little bit? So for those that didn't play college, like what does that mean? The exhibition circuit or whatever.
The exhibition circuit. I guess you would have all the doubles matches out play, right? Probably both all D1, D2, D3. Allegheny College is a D3 school. We'd have all three doubles matches play, and then after that, we'd have all singles matches being played there. And wherever there was court space, if there were players on the other team that would do exhibition, we'd just be thrown out there just to hit for the heck of it,
Hmm.
play a set or two, and see where it goes.
So one
Yeah.
semester, why'd you choose to step away, and what was that decision like?
After that first semester, I was invested into studying physics for a physics major and music for a musical performance minor and pledging a fraternity all at the same time.
That's a
And
lot. That's a
between the
lot.
schedules of those three and having like 3 or 4 different music ensembles, like the whole time schedule was it was impossible to juggle around. So I figured tennis would be
Yeah.
the first thing to drop.
Hmm.
Still, I always love to go back
Yeah.
into playing the music part if I decided to continue on with tennis,
Hmm.
but for the sake of having a degree with both with
Hmm.
all credits satisfied,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'd be best to pursue that.
Did you? So you didn't. So you got your degree. Did you play any pickup? Did you like take like a lot of us take 10 years off?
Yeah.
Was that something you did? Did you take a long time off, or did you still play once in a while?
So with the tennis, I ended up well, I guess what I tried to do was I tried to find USTA matches around Meadville, Pennsylvania, but that turned out to be impossible, and I had to be like an hour and a half south of 79, closer to it. There's really no chance of competing there. So I just waited it out and focused on my studies
Hmm.
until grad school, where I
Hmm.
started at the University of Akron. And
Hmm.
back then, I started in 2017. In the summer, I think it was either 2018 or 2019, I started getting back into playing tennis, getting lessons
Okay.
once a weekend, playing a couple tournaments here and there, both singles and mixed doubles.
Was Akron Masters or PhD?
So the Akron was go at Akron, I was en route to get a PhD in polymer
Okay.
science, and
Okay.
about the summer of 2020 was when I transferred with my advisor from University of
Oh.
Akron down to University of North Carolina at
Hmm.
Chapel Hill.
Hmm.
That was a tumultuous time to make a move. What was that like?
At that time, a lot of people were on the verge of transferring schools, leaving, trying to
Hmm.
reevaluate how all the schools
Mm.
are doing financially, and
Hmm.
Akron just seemed to be taking a hard hit. Uh, They were in the process of reconsolidating different colleges into a less number of departments in order to save money. So yeah, I ended up in the chemistry department of UNC Chapel Hill, getting a
Oh.
different degree than still a PhD, but in chemistry in an area
Yeah.
where I haven't taken many chemistry classes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you moved to Chapel Hill. How did you? Yeah. So how did you find your way into the Triangle tennis scene? Ultimately, the Easton Boys we covered, and then you played Craig after your match with Craig Radley. What happened
Yeah.
next?
After that match, it was 2 or 3 matches after that when we played Zach, and I think you got me 3-6-3-6-1. I want to think if I remember correctly at Rock Quarry. And you and Michael Young, who I also played in that league, invited me out to Saturday morning sessions. And one of you guys told me it was at like 6 a.m. And I was like, all right, that gets me a reason to get out of bed and go
Oh
do
my gosh.
something outside of grad school. So I used that as a sort of reliever from my grad school studies, get my mind on something else, and forms some sort of social life out of that. Gives me something to look forward to.
Were you a morning person before that, or was that like a big change for you?
I was not much of a morning person, um, much more afternoon, evening person before that.
Hmm.
But these 6 a.m. sessions started to transform me a little bit on Saturdays and sometimes Sundays.
Yeah. Okay. So you made the switch to morning after you met the East End boys, because I still haven't really converted. I'm not going to do the 6 a.m. ones. The earliest I'll get there is 7:30, 8. There's nothing that's gonna get me there that early.
We'll see, Matt. I think I have a theory. I think that once the dogs like wake you up one day, and they'll wake you up 5 or 5:15, you'll just be sitting in bed pissed off, like fucking dogs. They're so loud. I love them, but And then the group chat will start to come alive, and people are playing tennis like 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
You're gonna come to one, and you're gonna be hooked. Ryan, after your first one, did you know? Okay, I found a group of guys I'm gonna keep playing with.
Yes, I was like, I'm pretty sure I hit someone with my serve, either
That's
my
good.
first or second time
Off the
There.
bounce or on the fly?
in the back of the leg or my partner
Incredible.
with my serve. I can't remember who it was. I thought it was Sam. I was pretty convinced it was Sam, but it was someone.
We'll have to
It
ask him.
feels like that happened to Sam Fishman. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'd have to get a fact check on that if anyone can actually remember way back on.
I think it's gonna have to be Sam. I don't know that Max will be able to fact check that one.
Yeah, that might be
Max was
outside
not
of
there.
Max's wheelhouse. Yeah, I think that's outside of his wheelhouse.
I
Very
gave
cool.
Max something he can't fact check.
We're gonna get into your serve here momentarily, but before we
boy.
do, we want to play the game that's sweeping the nation, which is like the third time I said that. We want to play the game that needs no introduction, but I'm gonna introduce anyway. Guess that triangle tennis player.
Heck yeah.
Matt.
I wonder if I can get it after one prompt.
Okay, first person has a big serve like you. I'd say one of the bigger serves in the triangle.
Oh.
You can't get it after one. That one's not.
It's not me.
It's not you. As I said, one
It
of
could
the biggest.
be. There's no rules to guess that triangle.
I was the
tennis player.
very first person mentioned in this game too.
Well,
As soon as I heard the first prompt from Matt, I was like, God damn it. My name's gonna get said again.
That's you. Yeah. So this person has the biggest, I would say, one of the bigger serve forehand combos.
Big serve, big forehand.
Big serve, big forehand flat. He has some great one-liners if you play with him. He often plays better when he's sipping on a beer. He's got really good hair.
Are we talking like as
A lot of
good as
people
your
got good
hairline
hair.
and Mike P hair? Or like,
I would say it's pretty
Because
close. He
Mike
might
P
not
was actually
quite-
going to be my first guess.
Yeah.
That was going to be my first guess. That's all I can think of right now. He's got some pretty good hair.
It's not Mike P.
Oh, somebody else is getting bestowed the crown of good hair today.
Yeah, he's got good. Mike P's got that. Could apply to Mike. This all could apply to Mike P. But it's not.
I can't remember the last time I've seen someone play tennis while drinking.
This doesn't happen often. Let's see. What else distinguishes this person? They're from the South. Very friendly.
Is this like Kentucky South?
More South.
Ooh.
I might have stumped you with this one.
You have. Not Kentucky. Shoot.
Came here recently, a couple years. What isn't like an original member? I would say as a friend of the EBB.
The friend of the EBB.
Does he work for a prominent fast food company?
He used to.
He used to.
Yes. This person used to work for McDonald's.
Is he a regular meme poster?
I believe so. Yes, he's a big memer.
We're getting you all kinds of hints here, Ryan.
No,
this is how I know Ryan.
I have a feeling that everyone. Now I know what it feels like to be that person that cannot guess.
Yeah.
That triangle tennis player. It feels bad.
All right. Do you want to give up?
No,
I don't think I don't know any more hints.
I can't give up.
You're not giving up?
I don't want to give up on this.
Does he have Carr in his last name?
Yes.
No. Wait. No.
He has a unique first name. He has a very unique first name.
Do we still have him stumped?
You do.
This is incredible.
Often mispronounce his name as Aubrey.
Oh, yeah. The one and only Aubrey.
There you go.
There are going to be people listening to this on their commute home screaming, "It's Aubrey! It's Aubrey! It's Aubrey! How does he not know it's Aubrey?"
Yeah.
Oh no.
I
just went from that guy who's gonna say I'm gonna get this on the first prompt to I'm not gonna get it at all.
Yeah. I
That's
can
my
understand
downfall,
Mike
boys.
P. Mike P. could fit the first couple, but I think after the next ones, we differentiated a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. We've got another one. One of the scrappiest players in the triangle. He's actually from NC and played person in the triangle, played at the same high school, and is a fellow data nerd.
Is that Jackson Cabell?
Nope. That's a good
He's
guess
pretty
too, though.
scrappy.
That is a good guess, and he's a fellow data nerd. And he is from. I
Got
think
a
he's
lot of
from
data
me
nerds.
too. Damn,
Huh.
that would fit Jackson, but it's not
That it
Jackson.
would have.
Yeah, this
Freaking
person is
data
not quite
nerds.
as tall. They went to the same high school as another person
Man, a lot of people have been to the same high school
that moved here.
as another person.
No,
It's not James Dorsett.
no. Oh, that would be a good guess too. Oh man, works at SAS. BFFs with Spencer.
That's you.
I am a good friend of his, but I'm not
And
his
you're pretty
BFF.
scrappy.
Yeah.
How would you
Damn,
rank
that would be me.
the Spencer's friends in order, Matt, if you had to?
Oh, I don't know. This individual. I almost said this individual's name.
Power ranking of
I don't know his friends from high school. We're definitely very close now. What else about this person? They they had surgery recently and almost died. So
Oh,
that was pretty
no.
wild.
Oh,
Yeah, they had an
wow.
appendix burst or something.
Oh no.
This is
Yeah,
making me feel even worse.
I just
Yeah.
want to I just want to say that unequivocally the Triangle Tennis Podcast is anti appendix bursting, right? That's
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't
Yeah,
like that.
this
2 thumbs
person
down to
can
that.
fact check me on exactly what happened, but it was very serious. Think of what other hints I can give. They don't hit the ball hard, like not hard at all. They recently moved up from 3.5 to 4.0. I'm running out. Zach, do you have any guesses either?
No.
They did well. They had a
Is
really
it
tough
Billy?
match in the carry. Nope. We already did Billy. They had a tough match in the carry sizzle. Lost a really tough one.
Is it
the summer sizzle?
is it Tom Brady Sowers?
It is. It is.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I scooped
I'm
you.
sorry,
I don't know
Brady.
if
That's
you're gonna
okay.
get
I
it.
was gonna get. I had to give it to somebody. Ryan's struggling.
I'm sorry, Brady. I do not know you
All right,
as
all
much
right.
as I thought I did.
This
Now
one.
we know so much about Brady.
Okay, this one. He's got a big forehand. He has a unique serve motion that is distinctive. And you could say that he is a surgical player of sorts.
Surgical player of sorts.
He frequently wears the sleeveless shirts, and he's shredded as of recently, so he's rocking them.
I'm thinking of
This is, even though I've never met
service
this person.
motions.
You will see him on Swing Vision regularly if you're Swing Vision users.
That would have been Mark Sure.
No sleeveless.
No sleeveless.
Yeah.
If I would see him on Swing Vision, he'd either be playing with you or Mark. James doesn't.
He has been on my Swing
That's
Vision,
it.
and I think he may have been on Mark's Swing Vision as well. But he is a prolific user and has great matches worth watching for those of you that are his
He
Swing
does.
Vision friend.
They have some good highlights. You check out their Insta.
He is a brain surgeon.
That's David. Wait, is that David?
That's David. David Hui. Surgeon David.
That was my first. That was gonna be my first guess, and then your last hint threw me off. With the
the
tanks.
surgical game. Yeah, I was trying to get too cute with that one. This has
Oh,
been
I got that was the one that.
No, it was the tanks. I don't think I've ever seen him in a tank. Well, in a
Surgeon David?
sleeveless. Yeah.
Oh, somebody's got to fact check me on this. He's a sleeveless guy. Big, I think.
Probably
I
is.
guessed after the surgeon hint, I was able to get it. Man, Ryan,
Got
that
it.
was rough.
Man, that was a rough one. I'm gonna get
was
trolled
rough.
so much for this.
Oh, that was so
That's
good.
okay. I deserve it. I
Did you have
thought I was
fun?
gonna come in so confident.
Did you have fun playing the game?
I did have fun playing the game.
You're
You
a winner.
know,
You're a winner.
That's what really matters.
when
Not
you're
whether you win
doing
or
these
lose.
things, you have to ask yourself at the end, did you have fun? And
Yeah.
the answer better be yes every time, or else you should just drop it.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
That's why I took a little mini break from tennis because I walked off the court and I was like, I did not have fun tonight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back, Ryan, to you. So you famously have 2 first serves. We've talked about that already on the pod a little bit.
Oh yeah.
How many people would you say in North Carolina have suggested that you hit a kick serve?
At least every other player.
Give us a number. Quantify it for us.
Let's say I started playing again back in what? July, August 22, and I played at least one new person, we'll say every other week.
Yeah, according to Tennis Record, you have 132 USTA matches under your belt.
Wow.
How about unique opponents?
That
Can you,
I don't
is
know.
it possible to look that up on World Tennis Number?
Could
WTN?
be.
Maybe.
Let's see. Because my WTN, also WTN needs to host some more tournaments that should be appetizing to people. Because there is no way that people are convinced to even do WTN tournaments at all. I don't know
I
if you
didn't
guys
know
are
that
familiar with
WTN
those.
had. Nope, didn't know they existed.
So there's actually been a push to make more tournaments that are directly related to WTN and would only
Yeah.
influence the WTN rating for both singles and doubles. But there, I don't think there's enough going on to actually convince people to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what WTN is, in fact. And I'm like a pretty
World Tennis Number?
prolific
The world
tennis
even
tennis
know it.
player.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I knew that. Wow.
World Tennis Number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like its own organization or what?
It has a sort of affiliation with USTA. Or
Yeah.
Max or Nick Baxendale will be able to give you a
Huh.
lot of info on that.
Yeah.
Huh.
That sounds about right. I don't know anything past that, but I believe it's somehow related to USTA. But beyond that, I don't know. I didn't know they had
Okay.
tournaments. That's new for me.
So
You-
there's a statistic for match activity. I have 60 unique singles opponents. I'm
Wow.
not sure how far back this goes, but I'm willing to believe it goes back to when I started playing again in 2022. I'm willing to bet you at least 30 of those people told me that I should get a kick serve.
Wow.
That's my estimation.
And what do you, when you hear that for the 31st time this week or next week, what's going to go through your head?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I need to actually get out there sometime, work on a kick serve, and it'll get better. The other alternative is to go 60-65% of my first serve for that extra consistency. At least throw in a little bit more spin.
Yeah.
This doesn't necessarily mean slowing down your swing speed though, because in order to
Yeah, you don't
have
wanna
that
do
spin to
that.
put the ball back down in the court, you gotta swing faster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll just throw it out there. If I could serve the way that you serve, I don't think I would hit another kind of serve. I'd like it. It looks like you have more fun serving than anybody else in the court because you just mash the ball and it's working and it goes in at a good enough clip. If you could do that, why would you do something else? Is my feeling as an outside observer.
Exactly. Like statistically, if you have the same first and second serve, and it's like what, 75%. How often does that get you a double fault? Like 1 in 4
Yeah.
at the most?
Yeah.
And let's say that two of the other four, two of the three of the serve going in is unreturned. Then you got that extra point that you can just play out. And hopefully you're better at the ground strokes or the all court strategy besides the serve than your opponent.
You got one to give. Yeah.
It makes sense to me. Like the math makes sense, and I think it adds up. I think the only time so I've tried actually to do what you do with the 2 first serves, and I had one game that was great. I was like, oh, got a free point on a second serve or 2. That's nice. I like that. And then I had another game where I double faulted 3 times, and after the third one, I was about to have an absolute meltdown. How do you stay up mentally and stay positive when you're having one of those games where the math just works against you?
So at that point, it's not only the math, but is also a direct result of having a garbage serve that's not going to go in. Because if your serve's not going to go in, you're not going to develop a rhythm with your ground strokes. It's not just your serve that's suffering from me double faulting so much. I think that, and you will see that manifest in history record if I lose 0-1, 0-2, really bad games like that. That's a lot of my serves being awful and me not being able to warm up uh, points from that. I just have no rhythm whatsoever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am usually just mentally over it. I try to have fun with it while the match is still going on, but at that point, I'm just checked out.
hmm You have one of the highest ceilings, but then the floor is a little lower for you. I think that's fair to say.
Exactly. Yeah,
But when you're at your ceiling, what does it feel like?
feels great. It's probably one of the best feelings that you could have playing tennis where you
Yeah,
could just be as loose as possible, start
yeah.
slamming balls cross court, making the opponent run sideline to
hmm
sideline, and it's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Who's your best win that you've gotten in the triangle?
Uh-oh. That's a great question, because it's been a while since I've had a good win.
Eric was
Most
a
recently,
AGCR. That might have
Eric.
been one. That's got to
Oh
be
yeah,
up there. Yeah,
Eric's up there. That's like a good win for
yeah.
once in a while. Another one, I'm looking right here. I played a doubles match with Pat Shields for the first time
Oh, yeah.
against Parker and Alex in
Which
6-4,
Alex?
7-5. Alex Berger,
I
I
don't
want to
know.
say.
I watched
He
the
might
match. I'm
be,
pretty sure.
he was in the Wilmington team at State, but I'm not sure where he lives right now. But the score was 6-4, 7-5, and we were down, I want to say, I think it was 3-5 in the second set. And one of
Mhm.
us just said, hey, we're just going to win 4 games in a row and go home. And we ended up doing that. And playing with Pat actually was what convinced me to even slow down my serve speed
Hmm.
a little bit because I had that confidence in him being able to
Yeah.
make that first point to finish a volley or overhead.
He asked you by name to play with you, Ryan. I think I told
Yeah.
you that, but
Yeah,
said
he told me
Spencer
that too. He's like, yo, I told him that I want to play with you. And I'm like, all
texted
right.
Spencer and and he's I want to play with Seiko. And so
Yeah.
you guys played, and I think you guys won both your matches, the two
Oh
that you
yeah.
played together. And they
I
were
have a
good
good
solid
history.
wins.
I have a good history of having fun doubles matches with people.
You
I have,
Rob, you had some great matches with Rob as well.
yeah,
you've been called the quintessential doubles partner by the mayor of East
Mhm.
End, Michael
the
Young.
mayor, Michael Young.
It's true. Why do you think you are seen as an exemplary?
Good question. I'd probably ask all the people I've hit with. They would probably give you a better answer than I would. But
Matt, have you played? Have you played doubles with Ryan?
No, but what I've heard is what Shields was telling us was it was his serve, and he said,
Hmm.
"I want to smash balls in people's faces off that serve," and that's why I think people enjoy it and do well is because if your serve's on, then it makes the person's life at the net very easy.
oh yeah,
For me,
hmm
playing doubles, Ryan, it's the intangibles. Just high fives after every point, make or miss. Keeps the
hmm
energy positive. Every now and then, when you're in your feelings after a bad miss, knows when to give you a little bit more space. I think, Ryan, you are a very intuitive doubles partner that is able to match who you're playing with wherever they need to be matched at.
yeah. And sometimes you gotta be able to adjust your energy and your composure to help out the doubles partner if there is a case where that uh, starts to happen, or if there's some sort of imbalance in that team composure.
Do
But
you
actually, I can't remember the last time I've even had that with people.
do you feel more pressure on your serve in doubles when it's not falling?
I feel about the same,
Yeah.
although I've definitely choked to win matches on my serve, being up like 5-4 or something like that. It's happened a lot more
Yeah.
than once,
It happens to
especially in
everybody.
doubles.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's nice having a partner out there because on the one hand, it's great. Like I've got like someone like pick me up, but on the other, it's like when you hit a bad shot, it's not just you're mad at yourself. Like you feel bad, and that's something I personally struggle with sometimes.
Yeah. And more so, I feel more bad at myself for missing the shot than at whoever my doubles partner is for missing their shot too.
Yeah.
It's like a miss is a miss, but if you know you can help it and hit a better shot, it's whatever.
Yeah.
You just learn to live with it and move on. It is just tennis too.
For the
You gotta
people,
remember that.
For the people listening, thinking, "Hey, I've got a pretty good first serve. I'd like to hit that twice. I don't like that. I don't like my second serve. I want to hit this one twice." What would you say to them, and what case would you make for folks thinking about doing the 2 first serve, the Sayko serves, if you will?
Do it and see what happens. Do it. Take some numbers. See how many double faults you have. And if that's any better, record your double faults, your ratio of double faults to your unreturned serves. That's actually what I did for one match against Spencer when you were playing Matt on the adjacent court.
Oh, nice. Zach, is there a tool that can help you keep track of this stuff?
Oh, I'm so glad that you asked, Matt. I think I've heard of one recently. It's called Swing Vision. It's a little pricey. I'm gonna say it, but you know what? Tennis. You cannot have a rational relationship with money and enjoy tennis. You've got to be willing to just light it on fire. So pay it, do it, get Swing Vision, and wow, what a great segue to plugs. That was a plug prep plug.
That was
plug. Yeah.
It was completely not unplanned. I just saw the opening. I had to take it.
Yep.
As unplanned
I
as
knew
an
that.
organic
You
moment
could
on
see
Swing
that.
Vision. Yep. Ryan, what do you want to plug today?
I'm going to plug someone that I've been following for probably about a year now. His name is Jonathan Stokey. He's currently a coach out of a club in South Carolina, I think. And he's got a Spotify podcast called Baseline Intelligence, where you can listen to this podcast, get better at the sport of tennis without ever hitting a shot.
Oh.
So he's got that Spotify podcast. He also has a YouTube channel at Stokey Tennis. If you want to follow him. He's got about 7.4K subscribers and 91 videos as I'm looking at this right now. So it's a lot of good information that you can pick up in both singles and doubles.
Do you prefer listening to his podcast or ours?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Do you prefer listening to his podcast or ours?
Oh, depends on the mood.
There's only one right answer to that.
Yeah.
Definitely his. We're not coaches.
Oh no, I'm gonna say ours.
Oh yeah. There we go. That's right. You're doing plugs. Sorry, yeah.
I'm about to get you guys canceled now. I'd recommend both. He had Sam Querrey on a week and a half ago. Yeah.
Nice.
That's the thing that's so funny is like you do not need that many listeners and followers to start getting some wild guests. Hey, respectfully, 7.4 thousand followers is a lot more than we have. It's not like that many. If we can get Sam Querrey, we just gotta get 7,000 more. 7,360 listeners.
That's kind of a lot more listeners than us.
It's not like that. Like it's the same. It's a different arena size. Yeah, we would fill a different size room. Well, yeah, for now
we can fill a living room.
Yeah, they could fill a stadium.
You could get a live
audience. It's a small stadium though.
Live audience.
Yeah,
we should do a live.
Can't this app do it though? The Squadcast.
Maybe we'll do.
You can do it live.
Maybe. Fuck it, we'll do it live. All right, I'm gonna plug something, Ryan, that your mom and I talked about in Wilmington that she encouraged me to do, and she is correct, and every young man should be doing this. Get yourself checked out. Apply self-exams. Make sure that you're right. There is meaningful risks. I was gonna try this. It didn't really work. I think we have to cut this. I wanted to talk about that, but that didn't.
You were warming yourself up for something later, and
yeah, because I think your parents are longtime listeners for starters, and I want to make sure that we talk about that. Maybe we'll come back to that, and I'll try a different plug.
I thought it was fine. What do we? I don't know.
I was gonna plug checking your balls for lumps.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
great
Then
thing
go
to say.
for it.
Okay.
Fellas, check your
Yeah.
balls.
You heard it from Ryan. Check your balls for
Yeah.
lumps. It's
Yes,
important.
absolutely.
One of the greatest athletes, arguably the greatest athlete of all time, and my favorite athlete of all time, Lance Armstrong, famously was diagnosed with testicular cancer as an elite athlete in his 20s. It can happen to anybody. It doesn't need to be a life ender. It's going to change your life for a little bit, but check yourself regularly. Make sure you're going to the doctor. And it's something that if you catch it, you're going to be okay. So, fellas, check your balls.
Let me
Weird
ask
way.
you a question, Zach.
Yeah.
So you're encouraging me to play with my balls, just play with my balls whenever I feel like it.
On and off the court. And here's the thing, Matt.
Yeah.
I'm not encouraging you to do it
No
for
matter where
anything,
you
any
are.
reason other than I want you to stay alive. I want you to stay healthy. And so if
Okay.
somebody says, hey, Matt, stop doing that thing that you're doing, you say, I'm sorry. I'm trying to stay alive.
Yeah,
Try to
I'm trying
stay
to. Yeah.
Life is short, fellas. Check your balls.
Life
Check
is
your
short.
balls.
Check your balls. We're
That's great.
unequivocally anti-cancer as a podcast and
Yep.
pro playing with balls.
We're pro
Playing with
smashing
balls?
cancer too.
We are pro.
We
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
smashing cancers.
Ryan, did you win the sportsmanship award, by the way?
I didn't even know that there was a sportsmanship award.
We'll come back to that later. All right, Matt, what you plugging today?
What am I gonna plug today? Oh, I'm gonna plug a show. I've been one of my favorite shows came back, Cobra Kai. It is
Oh,
an
yeah.
absolutely silly, absurd show. I never really watched Karate Kid, but I watched Cobra Kai because it's about these washed up guys who are still obsessed with the All Valley. My sister used to live like close to the All Valley, and Jody and I would joke if we ever won the lottery, I would create the All Valley, train my niece and nephew to win the All Valley, so that we could have trophies of winning the All Valley tournament.
You know, Matt, I actually think we can team up on this, and I can be helpful. I used to live near there, and I know
Yeah.
people at Cal State Northridge,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're gonna find a way for your nieces
Yeah.
and nephews to win the All Valley tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently it doesn't exist. I can't believe someone has not started this. Like, why? How could you not start the All Valley tournament?
Yeah.
And I love that the stakes are super low, although the stakes are a little higher in season whatever. It's
In the show,
absolutely
they make
absurd.
them outrageously. They make
Oh,
it feel like the
it's-
most
yes.
important thing. That's a great show. I finished the new season already. You
I
are
still got
correct.
2
It's
more
excellent.
episodes.
You
I
haven't
am
gotten to the
going
part where they all die?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
You
I
just
am
spoiled
gonna-
it.
Yeah.
There's no spoilers.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna meet and see them do a panel at GalaxyCon and meet them. So that'll be fun this weekend. So I'll send
That's
some
so
pictures.
cool. That's so cool.
Yep.
All right. We're going to shift gears. We're going to get back into Ryan. Ryan, we're going to talk about your tennis. But before we do, there's a reason why I plugged what I plugged today. Your parents are longtime listeners. The entire East End Boys comic universe loves the Sayko family. They're lovely, wonderful people who have come to tournaments, come to some league matches, and have talked with us a little bit about some of the challenges that you faced. But for a lot of us, we haven't heard about those things from you. Will you tell us a little bit about why I was plugging what I was plugging?
Oh yeah, I'm a cancer survivor, particularly in the testicular cancer area.
Nice.
So this was what sophomore year of college. This was spring 2014. Noticed one testicle was probably the size of a little bit larger than a ping pong ball, maybe a golf ball.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
I shouldn't laugh, but was teenage Ryan like,
go
look
ahead.
at-
I prefer
Yeah.
this
Okay.
be more of a comedic setting.
Let's do it.
I don't like people.
Yeah.
I don't mind if people feel bad asking.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just pick like a random moment to insert the fact that I had testicular cancer
Yeah.
there.
I'll go there with you then.
Yeah.
Teenage Zach, if I had randomly a very large ball, would have been stoked. I would have been like, "Oh, look at this! How did that
I got a
happen?
huge ball.
Yeah.
Look, I got a huge
yeah.
ball." What did Teenage Ryan think?
I was what? Teenage Ryan. When he had
A little
this,
older than teenage.
he was 20.
Yeah.
20.
Yeah, just a little bit older. There was no pain. So that's why it wasn't much of a concern for most of the spring semester. I figured, hey, I should probably get this checked out at the urologist when I get back home for the summer. So I did that. We got an ultrasound done. That was probably the first time I was thinking like, all right, what's going on with, like in a social scenario,
Yeah.
someone's um, rubbing that medical device with, I don't know if it was like a sort of jelly on my ball. And
Yeah.
thinking, all right, how much of this am I going to have to go through for the foreseeable future?
Do they recycle that
Mhm.
jelly?
I don't think so. I
I
would
don't think it's
not think so.
recyclable. We can
No.
ask our doctor friends what they
Yeah,
do with
we'll
the
get,
medicine.
we'll get a fact check on the ball jelly. Sorry.
This is for the ultrasound. This is what probably a regular practice that they do for ultrasounds.
In all
Yeah, yeah.
seriousness, that's yeah, I'm sure that
And
was like a scary moment. So what? Yeah, what was going through your head?
after that, the urologist was like, "Yeah, you got cancer, testicular
Wow.
cancer, and we're since it was starting at your left testicle, we're probably gonna have to operate on it and
Yeah.
get it out.
Mm-hmm.
So this procedure is called an orchiectomy, where they don't necessarily cut open uh, your scrotum. They go in the area above it and reach down through that as and it would be like a sort of pocket. Take it out from there. So I spent
Yeah.
about a day in the recovery room. Yeah, in the recovery room there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I went back to school for the fall. And what they also told me was that you're gonna have to get further blood work done to make sure that this cancer didn't spread up your lymph node tract because
Mm-hmm.
your testicles are connected with your lymph node tract up to your kidneys.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
back in, it was what, September, October, a couple months later when classes are starting, I flew
Mm-hmm.
down to Memorial Sloan Kettering to get some blood work
Mm-hmm.
done, get it looked at by a few professionals there. And it turned out that it did indeed spread
Oh,
Oh my
to a few
gosh.
more lymph nodes. And that's when they told me, hey, you gotta start chemo next week. So
oh wow.
the rest of that week, I flew back to college. I had to move out of my dorm. And I ended up going back home and going to a hospital to start chemotherapy like the week after that.
Mm-hmm.
So with both of these things, it was like you found out and an action had to happen really quick, like within, days both times.
Mm-hmm.
What was going through your head when you had this tiny decision window, essentially?
I guess it wasn't really much of a decision to make.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
so, hey, you gotta do this in order to live.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know where you are in the statistic that they had. And what they did tell me was that I caught it at stage 2, where it was actually one of the most survivable cancers,
Yeah.
about a 95% survival rate.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's like being able to uh, feel like even 95, it's not 100%. I could be
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
1 out of 20 people
Sure.
that don't make it.
Sure.
So you just go with it at that point.
Yeah.
And I guess the other feeling of not really being able to hang out with all my friends in college
Yeah.
was also a sort of bummer, but
Mm-hmm.
How did
that was really it.
you got the chemo, and then was the chemo successful? Was it one round?
So these chemo appointments would be Monday through Friday for 1 week. They insert a port where it connects
Mm-hmm.
from my bicep all the way down to my artery. And that's where they would inject a round of cisplatin and a round of etoposide Monday through Friday. And then I'd be off of it for 2 weeks and then back on it for
Mm-hmm.
the next week. I would have 4 of those weeks going on with the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those rotations were like in a hospital setting, and 2 of those were just I go there for the day. And I didn't lose any hair until about a couple weeks after my first rotation
Yeah.
at the
Mm-hmm.
hospital. And I found this out after my hair started to come off after I played tennis for that week. I went to go take a shower, and then that's when it all started falling out. I'm like,
So
oh
you were
shit.
playing tennis through.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sort of a way to get my mind off of it and just be in
Mm-hmm.
the present.
Were the doctors like cool with that? Did they encourage it, discourage it?
They were cool with it as long as I wasn't playing during the week when I was getting the chemo, because
Okay.
the port and how that's
Yeah.
connected through my body, there could be complications from that, which I don't know enough to go into, but it's
Yeah.
something that I wouldn't interrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got a full
But
head of hair now.
I do. It
You
has
do.
changed quite a bit. It's
Yeah.
gotten a lot different from that chemo.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I want to believe that my facial hair got a little bit different too.
Oh,
There's a little bit more color in it.
Okay.
nice.
So how did change your facial hair, change your
Yeah.
hair a little bit? How did surviving that experience change you? What did it change your hair, change your beard? What else did surviving cancer change about you?
I believe it just gave me a whole new look on how to approach
Mhm.
things in terms of humor.
Yeah.
I didn't take some things as seriously as I did before cancer, and I just had a whole new approach where this is the life I have. I need to start living it to a more full potential where I could be the best person that I want to be.
Yeah. So you talked about the how it changed. It gave you more of a humorous outlook, lightened you up a little bit. And I can't believe I'm about to ask this question, but it's meant to be in the spirit of what you're saying.
Oh, go
Were
ahead.
there any funny moments? Was there a moment where you're like, okay, this is a funny scenario in an inherently unfunny, scary situation?
Oh, there's too many to count, really.
Okay. Like what? Yeah.
When I was recovering from chemo, I had to get one more surgery, and it was called a retroperitoneal lymph node dissection, where they cut open the front of my body. They basically rearranged my organs because the lymph nodes that were affected were really pretty close to my spine, and not to the point where they started interacting with my spinal cord, but it was probably like a week or two away. Yeah, about a week or two away, maybe. And then they put my organs back in me, sew me shut. In any case, I was helping out coach my high school's tennis team
Yeah.
to pass time. And I think I threw in a couple jokes about me having cancer to them, and they were just absolutely mind blown about what I said to
Like
them.
what would you say to these
Yeah.
kids?
They'd be like, "Nope, you got no balls." I got one ball. I got one ball.
I got one ball and it's
kid.
bigger than yours. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bigger than your ass. You beat me to it, Zach.
Yeah. No, the
Wow.
one thing I did on Facebook before my orchiectomy was my Facebook status was BRB, losing a nut.
That's funny.
I got a lot of likes. People are like, "Oh wow, it's so funny." I was like,
Oh
"Yeah."
my god.
That's a good
Oh
one.
my god.
Like you just gotta take humor out of it somehow. You gotta find, and no matter what you're doing, you gotta find an opportunity to create a moment out of it in
Yeah.
order to get that memory.
Yeah. Any tips if at some point in time, unfortunately, God forbid, somebody who's listening is going to go through chemo or a cancer diagnosis? Any tips for somebody that does?
You gotta do what you gotta do. If you have, first of all, you gotta talk to someone. There's at least one person out here in the world that would be okay listening to you just rant about anything in no particular order. There's always at least one friend, one stranger that would be able to sit down with you and just listen. The other thing is you gotta slow down as well. Not everything is over yet. And well, yeah, as in you getting through all of this and you succeeding your ordeal. But man, I wasn't ready to talk about this actually for this podcast.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
Oh, it's
I thought
okay.
we were just going to touch on it for a second, but it's
Y'all
so,
can reach out to me too if there's anything that's going on with you or somebody that
It's inspirational,
live.
man, to hear it. I'll just say it. You're on the courts. You're always such a good guy. You're always such a nice guy, and you always have such a positive attitude. And to hear like the hardship that you went through and the health scare that you went through and like how that has shaped you. I just think that's so much more interesting than tennis. And I know we're here to talk about tennis, but I just like I'm blown away at you, and I think it's fucking rad, man.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't actually know that before we started.
Surprise.
Yeah, so when I was making jokes about balls, I didn't know what was coming next. So I was just being an asshole.
Just play it along with it and just be like, what the hell was that, man? You know what you're saying right now? You're a cancer survivor of the testicular order?
I'll say I didn't know what an orchiectomy was until I know there's a scene in Mad Men where they talk about that, but I've learned a new word, and I think
There you
probably a
go.
lot of other people did too.
Yeah.
The more, all right,
No, this isn't the Triangle Cancer podcast.
It's not. You want me to jump in? Okay,
Yeah.
sure. Are we going back? Are we gonna go into?
How do we segue away from?
I don't
That's
know.
that's yeah, that was a very rough segue. I tried.
Hey, we talked about your cock and balls. Let's talk about your racket and strings.
My
What
racket and
what do
strings.
you
Yeah,
use?
there you go. There you go.
So, what I have is I used to use a Pure Strike from Babolat, and I decided I would switch out of that after this season to a Headboom Pro.
Oh,
The
nice.
new teal and black racket with almost a Yonex isometric looking frame, but it's more circular, more elliptical. A little bit more weight at the head and the shaft. Kind of like Yonex, but not quite.
This is an audio podcast, but if you guys could see Ryan's face and the way he's holding this racket right now,
Yeah.
you would be laughing as Matt is laughing.
I'm trying to keep a straight face, dude.
How do you grip that racket, Matt?
How do I grip it? So my grip is usually semi-western on the forehand. And I have a two-handed backhand.
Oh.
Sometimes that one-handed when I need to slice. It's not good enough to do like a left-handed forehand like Jay Wolf or Tevin Wilson. But yeah, that's the Headboom Pro I switched like a few weeks ago. Started hitting with it. I think it could be inspiring some people to switch as well to the Boom Pro.
I played somebody who was considering it this week because
Yep.
he recommended it.
Nice.
And by the way, he played very well.
He asked me like what were the specs that I ordered the racket for.
Yep.
And conveniently there was a sale through Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Express, Tennis Point where it was being offered at $200 rather than $270. In that aspect, that saved me some money to use it on the function where they do a racket matching function where you ordered the specs for them to be matched or paired. So I ordered two Headboom Pros to have as similar specs as they could. So the static weight when strong is 336 grams on both of them. I had to weigh them myself. Balance is about 7 points. Headlight. The swing weights when unstrung, I haven't been able to test them strung yet, is about 290 when unstrung with these strings. And the strings I have are currently Lynx Tour 17 gauge at 52 pounds, but I'm probably going to mess around with different strings as well to get a better feel. Because when you get the demo from Tennis Warehouse, they string them up with Head Lynx, which is a softer and round polyester string, and that actually felt really good. So I might go back to that string to try for a bit. That was really it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. You gave us quite a deep dive into your shaft there.
I gave you the full specs of my racket from head to shaft.
Your shaft very well now.
Yeah, you guys all know my shaft.
It's important to be checking your racket as well from time to
Yes,
time.
you guys have to check your rackets and make sure that you didn't bust the frame open when smashing it on the court.
Which I've done.
I see all y'all.
I've done
Do you know
that.
the story about Matt, Ryan?
I did that.
Which one?
Tell the story about it. Yeah.
So the Seven Oaks, yeah, actually since Seven Oaks, this will come out after, but yeah, so I was not checking my shaft regularly after throwing my racket, which everyone should.
Oh, you mentioned this earlier in
Yeah, you
another
probably heard on the
podcast.
podcast, but
Yeah.
yeah, so I chucked my racket. We were down 3-8. I had a small little crack, but I wasn't checking. I wasn't checking for cracks, and we ended up coming back after 3-8. It was pretty great, and that was the one where Jackson he had to correct me on one of them. I forget there was some beef there, but yeah, again, just a PSA: check your if you're going to be chucking your racket like me,
Check your racket.
check your rackets for cracks. Do you have any training routines?
Right.
Do you play more? Do you like to play matches? Like, so I only play matches. I'm a match guy. I don't do practice. Do you do hit sessions or, go out and hit a bucket of serves or something?
I like to do a mixture of both rallying and matches. I
Hmm.
like to get in
Yeah,
one rally session a week and maybe
yeah.
one practice match a week. I
Nice.
haven't been hitting as much lately since getting out of UNC and moving to Cary, but
Hmm.
that's usually my goal. And then now it's slowly devolving into only having my matches during USDA matches.
That's because you're working so hard for a
I was
renowned
about to
local
say.
company, Resolved Analytics,
Hmm.
which
That's
I'm
it.
not
Hmm.
100% sure what they do, but I know that they're very good. And I know that because you're on the team and Stuart Bible is the leader of the
Hmm.
team. And
Hmm.
that a business, you can tell how it's run by who its people are, and they're great people at Resolved Analytics.
So what we do is we consult with owners and engineers of fellow small and medium-sized businesses on various scenarios that involve fluid and gas flow. And we would run these simulations according to what they want us to
Hmm.
model, and we give them suggestions on how they can improve, whether it's a piece of engineering equipment, a piece
Yeah.
of an architectural plan that designs a
Hmm.
building,
Hmm.
or something else.
Okay.
And we make a few recommendations here and there based
Yeah.
on what they can
Okay.
improve on.
So they give you some specs. You try to simulate, okay, given these specs, this is under different scenarios, this is what we think will happen. And then based on this, you say, hey, if you want to improve something, you should do A, B, and C, something like that.
Exactly like that, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And if anyone's familiar with the area, this is computational fluid dynamics that we're looking into.
I remember when Ryan was looking for, I was helping him a little bit when he was coming out of his PhD because he would explain a lot of these things to me. And I was like, Ryan, what the fuck did you just say, man? I got a PhD too.
Yeah, I'm
And
gonna
I remember us
say
talking and
You
being
see,
like, wait a second, Ryan.
part of
I'm
the
not
art,
familiar with this. At all whatsoever.
and that's the thing, part of the art of going to grad school to get
Yeah.
another sort of education is you're not getting that education solely in that area. You're getting an education to be able to talk about your area to people who are not
Yeah.
directly familiar with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think grad school does at preparing you in that way?
It's here and there. I would
Yours might
say
have been better, Ryan. Yeah. Yours might
I
have been better.
definitely acquired more skills in
Yeah.
developing presentations and PowerPoints,
Yeah.
making very pretty pictures of scientific figures. My
Yeah.
writing has improved a little bit, but I would say my immediate knowledge in the area that we studied, it's grown like that, but not nearly so much. And what I really wanted to get out of the process of going to grad school was a career path that involves going into an industry or a small
Yeah.
consulting firm, small business.
Mm.
And that's what I got from it. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty thankful for that.
So I'm
Yeah.
not going to blame your grad school for this, but I went to your defense, and I'm going to tell you that you lost me on slide 2
Yeah.
because it was so far over my head. I was like, well, this is
Yeah.
nice that they're trying to explain this, but I'm just gonna nod along and
Just a
smile
nod.
at my
Yep.
butt.
Not along. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, like couldn't
Great.
tell you a thing.
Yeah,
I know
I
that there were
appreciate you
graphs
showing
that
up
showed
for
one
that.
thing and then graphs that showed
Yeah.
another, and you learned something from those graphs. And I think that's
Mhm.
great. I think it's great.
And that was that was like year 6 of my grad school career. And at
Mhm.
that point, we were just trying to get a victory run presentation going with a few committee members
Mhm.
that were also friends with you and your advisor. they would be down for it as well, and there wouldn't be much of those discussions behind closed doors where they don't ask you questions unless they're like brainstorming ideas for their research as well. And that was actually really fun to take part of as well.
You had fun during your defense?
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah.
God.
I'm one of the
Not
few that
enjoy
get to
it.
say that I had fun doing my defense because during that grad school time, it was a rough process trying to get papers published as quickly as possible. And from that, you'd already have your dissertation written for you. And then you just got to slap together an intro and conclusion that made somewhat sense to people and just call it like it is.
Yeah.
And for
That
the
sounds
audience,
nice.
it didn't even have to make sense. It was only to make sense to 2 people.
I don't know
really
how many
does.
people
Yeah.
get
That's
to have
cool.
that, but like even the experiences that aren't like that, I'm sure they're hella tough to go through.
Hey,
as you can attest to that, Matt.
They're terrible people. They just torture you because they can, because they have power over you and they enjoy it. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. So
we're here to talk about things that we enjoy. What kind of gear, Ryan Sayko, do you most prefer?
The gear. Oh man. I am an Adidas clothes person.
Okay.
Besides the sweatpants, not sweatpants. They were sweatbands for my wrists. And I forgot what company they were from. I'm gonna have to look that up real quick. It's whatever is ADV are the letters on it.
They make the really
ADV
good
tennis
bike
wristbands.
Right? Yeah. A bunch of the guys that ride bikes speak extremely highly of ADV bags, and I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about them.
Oh, they do have the bags that everyone uses too. I saw those as well. Yeah. But they got really good wristbands.
Do you, Matt, have any line of gear that you particularly enjoy?
Oh, absolutely. I was gonna say, Ryan, if you're in the market for wristbands, we have great deals over at Diadem.
At Diadem?
Get you a wristband for a couple of bucks. No. Oh no, did I say it wrong again? Now I don't remember which way.
Nobody knows. I love it. We definitively found out, and we still don't know.
We got that nice plug.
I totally forgot.
We're plugging Diadem.
The brand's so nice, we have to plug it twice. Diadem.
No, I was told it was. It's Diadem, yeah. I was saying it wrong. We met that nice gentleman the other night at a 5-0 match who was more decked out in Diadem gear than me.
We're winding down. 2 more questions for you. Number 1, what is the most fun league that you've played in?
The most fun league? It's probably got to be the Spring League and the 4-0 squad with Chris Manfield, legendary captain.
Yes.
That was definitely one of my favorites.
He is.
And I would say that Spring League is probably generally a good league to start and have fun with because you can play singles, you can play doubles, you could do whatever you prefer, or you could just play like two matches and call it a season.
Yeah.
If your team's looking to go to states, but yeah, that's a good time. Summer singles, if we weren't in such hot and humid weather in summer, and I wouldn't be sweating through my shoes midway through a match, I would put that up there as well.
Quick plug, fall singles.
Sign up for fall singles.
It's like summer, but less hot.
Yeah.
If you're a beefy boy, your winning percentage will go up by 20 points if you play fall singles.
So much.
There are no states ramifications for that too.
Nope.
Your rating won't be affected if you play fall singles.
Yeah. That's just for you.
Yeah.
Just for you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Last question here, Ryan. What does tennis mean to you? This is clearly our first take.
Yeah, clearly.
I haven't done this 3 times just for the podcast viewers.
Y'all said that this was the best recording. And then now we get to hear.
The third. Okay. All right. What does it mean? For the third time?
Tennis, it provides a fantastic social outlet for people of many different skill levels of the sport. Whether you're a 2-5 or 3-0 looking to start playing for the first time, or if you're a seasoned college tennis player or professional. Out of all the areas that I've played in, New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and North Carolina, this triangle area is by far the best outlet to get into the sport of tennis. I'm blessed that I get to talk to people that share the same love of the game as me, and I'm blessed that I get to keep playing this game in order to stay relatively fit and have a somewhat healthy lifestyle. There's that.
Folks, this has been another episode of the Triangle Tennis Podcast. Ryan, thank you so much for being on with us today and for opening up and just for being you, man.
It's Dr. Ryan to you.
Goodbye.